For us, the darkest hour is when the pandemic first hit and the signs of how drastic the changes were going to be for the retail landscape started to develop in terms of the media. That's when panic mode began.
We went from 27 down to 17 people. We went from 2 stores to 1. Things changed.
What are we going to do about our customers and our neighbors and the students and everyone who depends on us to make music? I think I don't really think of it as a dark time, more frantic. And what do I have in my arsenal that I can think of to make my way in this so that we can continue to serve and stay open?
It was a year like no other, a time when face masks became daily attire, when home doubled as the office, when city streets were barren, and so were the once crowded exhibit halls in Anaheim, as the NAMM show went from vast to virtual.
Going into 2020, how could anyone have imagined what was just ahead? You know, the 2020 NAMM show was probably the most successful event we'd ever produced. We had really fulfilled our vision of Crossroads, of bringing the global music and sound products industry together. 21 looked like more of the same, looked like we were really on a roll. 6 weeks after the NAMM show, to the day, everyone will remember March 12, where they were when the bottom completely dropped out.
By March of 2020, Dr. Anthony Fauci was becoming a familiar face on television, detailing the pandemic's rapid growth and advocating for people to take preventative measures that could save lives. With COVID-19 quickly spreading across the U.S. and the death toll rising, it soon became apparent that the American workplace was about to change drastically.
The safety of our team, that's the highest priority, and that's driven by our values commitment to do the right thing. So we closed the building on Monday even before the lockdown order was issued later that week. We just thought that was the right thing to do. In order to make all that happen, the challenge, of course, is get people working from home. Some people had laptops, tablets, and they were able to transition pretty easily. IT stepped in and made sure everybody was taken care of. We had some computers, some monitors, even some chairs go home. But by Friday, everybody was operational, and we were learning Zoom, and we were learning Teams.
Good morning, thanks for calling NAMM. This is Juliet. Yes. Mark Newcomb? I sure can. He's in membership.
Thank you for calling NAMM. This is Mark. Well, hi, Alan. Well, working from home has been very productive. We were able to just pick up where we left off from day one, setting up here at home, and stay in touch with our members, communicate incoming calls, outgoing calls, emails. And it's been great to stay in contact with our members. They've been having a tough time. It's been very challenging, and it's great to be there and available whenever they've needed assistance.
Once the staff was settled in their home offices, the next step was figuring out how to move forward as an association in this new pandemic paradigm. During this time, the NAMM Foundation created and produced 21 webinars garnering more than 35,000 video views and helping NAMM members, music teachers, and advocates access information on economic relief efforts, transforming music learning online, and directing music advocacy to sustain education as schools were being reinvented and reimagined.
Within days, we organized some of the very first online music education events, and we had thousands and thousands of people participating. And it also accelerated some social media efforts, Facebook most particularly, of a brand new network for music teachers to really engage of how to do this. And I think without those early how-to inspirations that we gave within the first days, the March month of the COVID crisis, that we really accelerated the whole online music making and music learning to be not hopeless, but hope-filled. And it was perfect training for all the webinars that we did for a NAMM member relative to the business relief funding, the PPP loans, the tax credits, the unemployment options. Also very, very vital.
In the beginning, I kept checking your website, and you guys were great. I mean, truly, in the beginning, when they talked about, the closures and the first round of PPP and the information that was coming out, I mean, your involvement with the aerosol study and with putting just information out to the members like that. I'm a person who tends to have multiple tabs open on my Google Chrome all the time, and that update page that NAMM had was the second one open next to my email, because it was the first thing I would check. Okay, what's new? What's going on in another state or nationally that I can use for our business? So that was extremely helpful.
That's been amazing. And having tools that we can use locally, strategies that we can use locally. Just every week I'm seeing more and more stuff out of that office, and that's been huge for us.
With people no longer meeting in groups anymore, every show, every event had to be carefully reconsidered, starting with the NAMM DC fly-in.
And it was really disappointing that, along with all the other big NAMM events, we had to cancel it. But the advocacy training and staying engaged with advocacy was maybe never more important than it was this year with the election and ultimately a new administration coming in. So we went to work and we did a 4-hour virtual summit in June with training, with a lot of discussions about state and local advocacy. And we actually had 4 live music segments as part of the advocacies. And it was really important to bring NAMM members together. Actually, twice as many NAMM members participated in the virtual summit.
And while there was still hope in hosting 2020 Summer NAMM in Nashville, with pandemic numbers continuing to grow exponentially, event producers around the country were having to make the hard decision of postponing their live events or canceling them altogether. Keeping the safety of its members first and foremost, NAMM chose the latter option.
During that period, those first few weeks, the daily briefings, the news coming out, it was unfolding. It was sort of like a slow speed crash in a way. And it suddenly dawned on us that, okay, the world had changed forever. And we had to make a decision on Summer NAMM. And we did this quickly for many reasons. And in early April, we just said we're going to cancel Summer NAMM. And first thing we did was, give all our members their deposits back, all the exhibitors. Look, you guys need it more than we do here. Take care of your people. Take care of your business. Interestingly, there was this recovery in a sense, and by not too much longer than that, people were thinking by summer everyone will be back, that this was over, or it could be over. We were really too optimistic in a sense, and we're going, did we decide too early? By July, should we have had Summer NAMM? And but it didn't take long before we realized this was going to last a lot longer than anyone thought, and we realized it was the absolute right decision.
To make the most of the time set aside for Summer NAMM, NAMMU presented an important educational offering, the Virtual Summit, designed to help members address the unique challenges they found themselves wrestling with during the pandemic, spanning 4 days and 14 webinar-style sessions. This online education experience delivered new ideas to help nearly 1,700 attendees adapt to and succeed in the new next.
We saw that it was impossible to host Summer NAMM. It just wasn't in the best interest of the health and safety of our members. So one thing we could do was provide online education that really spoke to that moment. And that included education for everyone in music retail, audio production, and music technology. It was a way to provide education for that moment in time when so much was changing and everyone was wondering what their role was in this new world. That was really the intention behind that. And I was grateful to hear even a few months later that a lot of the attendees, our members, said it was exactly what they were looking for at the time that they didn't know they needed. So that was a nice outcome from that event.
A lot of our team worked from home. And so they were able to go home and better themselves by watching a lot of the NAMMU sessions. So yeah, I feel like NAMM was there for us and able to help us navigate every turn, every curveball that was thrown our way.
NAMMU also continued to build its online library of videos as a go-to asset for members throughout the year, reaching a global audience of members and industry professionals. And after years of delivering NAMM events at leading industry events abroad, the pandemic forced us to do things differently.
We are regularly offering education at shows around the world, at trade shows around the world, whether it's with our partnership with Music China or the shows in Russia. And the education offering, like everything else, has of course been special, to say the least. So much of what we took for granted has changed in business and in life. So since we and our members couldn't go to these places, we opted to deliver virtual classes. And we were able to have subtitled classes into Chinese, and they are being promoted right now by to our retailers and teacher audience in China as part of our collaboration with the organizers of that show. What I liked about this is really that it demonstrated how very much interlinked this industry is and how NAMM is sitting within it, sort of at the center when it comes to education of our industry.
With membership renewal fees looming in the fall and membership numbers dropping due to the COVID crisis, Cosby Chalicum and her membership team took a unique step, offering members suffering hardship a year's free membership to help them stretch their dollars further and take advantage of all that NAMM had to offer during this challenging time.
So to date, we've had about 140 companies that have applied and received the membership dues waiver. And this has made a huge impact on our membership. They have really been excited and just felt so relieved that NAMM understood what it is that they were going through and understood the difficulties, the financial difficulties that they have. And I do believe by us doing this 1 year free membership for them, it will go a long way. And this will really make a huge impact on our renewals and our membership numbers in the future. And I think that's, one of the things that we do at NAMM is our values is do the right thing. And this was the right thing to do for our members.
With temperatures dropping as summer turned to fall, the country began bracing for the next big wave of COVID cases. And while the pandemic greatly affected many musical segments, some were actually seeing an upward momentum in sales.
People at home with extra time and now extra money because of the stimulus checks, they went out and bought musical instruments. They bought guitars, they bought ukuleles, they bought electronic keyboards. Everyone that was studying at home went out and bought new microphones and all the adapters to make their home Zoom classrooms and podcasting sound better. And our members went from, a big section of our members, went from feeling like, there was complete despair to bring everybody back. We have orders to fill, and almost overnight. And it was just fascinating to see what for many of us in the industry saw for the first time. Too much demand chasing too little supply. We probably haven't seen that since the period right after the Beatles played on the Ed Sullivan Show. I guess it must have been what it felt like to have a store in 1964 when after the Beatles played, everybody lined up out the doors to play like the Beatles. And our members scrambled. We had supply chain issues. It created a whole bunch of other challenges, but the bottom line was people were playing music again. And they went out and bought and invested their time into playing musical instruments. And silver lining, it was quite unexpected and a welcome result of people realizing, hey, this is what I always wanted to do. Now, if I go back and look at the archives from 1918, after the Spanish flu, there were many, many articles in the industry that said the same thing. And in that case, it was pianos. So I guess if we'd have studied history better, we would have been better prepared for what happened. But, when people have that opportunity, they turned, as they always have, in times of, challenge like this, they turn to music.
With the pandemic closing entertainment attractions across the country, including NAMM's Museum of Making Music, September seemed the perfect time to begin the museum's scheduled renovation. After raising a total of $1 million, the museum was set for an exciting architectural redesign complemented by a fresh new narrative.
Well, our tangible goals for this renovation are to amplify the voices and the stories of our industry members, to update the way that we deliver that information through technology, and also to deepen and broaden our interactive experiences throughout a person's visit at the museum. And we do this because we want to give our visitors insights into the role that our industry plays in the creative process of music making, and we want them to be able to engage with that story on a personal level. And then we also want to encourage them to recognize their own place in the world of music making. And if perhaps they don't have a place, we want to inspire them to find their place in this world.
And just as major construction was starting downstairs on the museum, upstairs at NAMM headquarters, directors were doing some major reconstruction of their own, re-envisioning the 2021 NAMM show as a virtual event.
Well, it was disappointing not to be able to gather at the NAMM show for the first time in 80 years, but we really need each other as a global community, and our members learn so much from each other. They learn inspiration, they learn ideas, they just discover best practices. I think they just really recharge for the year to come. So it was very important for us to do something to gather our global community.
And if we were going to cancel the NAMM Show 21, what could we still provide the industry that was of value, that would help them boost their business, that would help them tell their brand story, that would help them get through these challenging times. So we worked right away to attending and researching platforms and digital gathering platforms and looking at other shows.
We set out 3 main goals, 3 main objectives we wanted to achieve with Believe in Music Week. 1, create the platform for new products, right? That's what NAMM Show does best. The world's eyes are there, products are launched. It's a great motivator for companies to finish their products on time, to be ready for the NAMM Show debut, and we wanted to accomplish that platform. Number 2 was education. Everything was changing. Whatever your role is in the industry, and we have such a broad segments of membership, whatever your role was, it was changing, no matter what. The pandemic was turning some things, a little bit, some things were completely turned upside down. And we created an educational campus that really spoke to that. How would we come out of this? What would the new roles be, and how could we help our members thrive in this new reality? And 3 was maybe the hardest, which was how do you create community? How do you create inspiration? The idea of what happens when you get everyone together at the NAMM Show. We used music as a way to create that community. That's what we did with Believe. We made music the center of it all, and that's how we found our passion, and we found the optimism for what lies ahead. We had never done it before. We had never created, we're good at creating physical events. We had never created a virtual event. We had a very short time to do it. We had no proven technology that would work. Yeah, what could go wrong? Hilarity ensued.
Believe in Music Week began with the NAMM Foundation track, which featured 53 sessions designed for music and arts advocates, nonprofit management, and music education professionals.
Well, Believe in Music really replicated the outreach and service that we have at the NAMM Show. We wanted to continue with those communities and those influencers that are with us at the NAMM Show, and with the virtual platform actually expand on it. And we had with us some people that we probably would be very difficult for us to have in person, including Gustavo Dudamel, the music director of the LA Philharmonic, and the world-renowned soprano Renee Fleming coming with us for our grand rally. So we really, again, tried to accelerate the message, expand the audience. We went from 5,000 music educators, college music students, nonprofits to over 15,000. So actually registered in that category. So it was really important for us to keep these folks engaged, keep them united, keep them connected to NAMM, support them in their work and community, because that's how we're going to have everyone engaged in music with all these people working together with us.
At the popular interactive Believe in Music Marketplace, 1,227 companies presented the latest technologies and gear across brand experience pages, showcasing brand stories and information, along with 768 brand special events on display throughout the week.
With everything that's happened in the past year, music makers, musicians, content creators, producers, engineers, they were all looking for inspiration to move forward with their art, and Believe in Music Week delivered it. It was a great opportunity for manufacturers, customers, retailers, the entire industry to come together, to interact, to learn from one another, and again, to get that inspiration. So I think Believe in Music Week was a tremendous success.
It was like old times a little bit. It was like magic. It was so fun to pop on and have people ping you and say, "Hey, you're here at the NAMM show. This is so cool. Let's Believe in Music Week." It had that same running into people in the aisles feel.
Professional education also played an invaluable part of the show, with nearly 200 education, training, and professional development sessions presented by 391 speakers.
With Believe in Music Week, the idea was to provide a robust education program almost akin to what we've been doing at the NAMM show during the last 3 or 4 years that spoke to the Crossroads vision. By that I mean providing distinct education programs for every major community in the NAMM universe: retail, brands, pro audio, entertainment technology, which of course includes lighting and safety and rigging, music technology. We even had kind of a fun artist track because so many people in this industry are musicians. One of the things I found kind of interesting about this particular program was that we did have sessions that would have, I think, made sense at a NAMM show 2-3 years ago, and that they were just kind of perennial great information. But we had some that were of the moment. We had a session on best practices for virtual communication on a platform like Zoom. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, never would have thought we'd need that, but here we are now.
Other highlights included the NAMM Tech Awards, the Parnelli Awards, and the NAMM Top 100 Dealer Awards.
What does it feel like to be NAMM's 2020 Dealer of the Year?
I'm thrilled. I'm almost at a loss for words. I wish it was cooler than this, but I'm just thrilled. I can't thank the staff enough and everybody that supported us. And it's been quite a ride, but to have been honored in this way means a great deal to all of us.
I was hoping for a loss for words, so perfect.
It would be amazing any year, but especially after this, you know, it was tough times. It was trying, and to come out of it and be selected as Dealer of the Year was amazing.
The Top 100 Dealer Awards, for me, turned out to be a real highlight of Believe in Music Week because, you know, let's face it, the music retail community needed its moment after the kind of year that so many had just gone through. It was such a disruptive period. And even though it was virtual, you know, it felt like a live event to me. It felt as if the community had gathered for that hour to celebrate its accomplishments and its innovations. So that was one of those moments I'll remember for the rest of my career.
Believe in Music Week also provided the live music and star power attendees have come to expect from a NAMM show. From its artist track and in-depth interviews with such luminaries as the late Charlie Pride and Chick Corea, to the global live stream featuring the performances of 40 artists from 23 countries and 6 continents. Then there were the live breakfast session interviews between NAMM President and CEO Joe Lamond and musical legends Garth Brooks and Melissa Etheridge.
I'm thrilled to welcome NAMM's 2021 Music for Life Award recipient, Mr. Garth Brooks. Garth.
How are you guys?
Welcome.
You guys sound like you got it going, man.
Wait, she is there. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Good morning, Melissa.
It's huge. It's so large.
Oh.
Thank you, NAMM. Thank you so much.
It was truly incredible to see the global response to Believe in Music Week, the online gathering to unify and support the people who bring music to the world. In total, we had over 95,000 attendees from 187 countries, passionate music makers, passionate music fans, passionate industry members who joined us to really celebrate and help us bring music to the world.
It's been very, very touching to see how many of our international members and partners were keen to get involved with Believe in Music Week once we were able to explain the concept and show them and tell them why we were holding the event as we did, it became clear just how desperately people wanted to get that feeling of togetherness, to work on a big joint event, even if it was just virtual, as a sort of replacement for being able to get together for real. I think it was heartening to see the engagement from members and partner associations from so many places, whether it was Australia, the association there, or members in Hong Kong, India, China, Germany, France and Spain, Brazil, everywhere around the globe. And they assisted with content for our Believe TV streams, some of which was specifically and beautifully produced. And in addition to that, we had the support of the International Alliance around the Make Music Day for the global live stream. And that made the whole event feel like a truly global event.
In addition to all the great business that was done during Believe in Music Week, the NAMM Foundation was able to raise nearly $500,000 in matched funds for NAMM Foundation charities that work to advance access to music making. The idea for the matching campaign was conceived and led by NAMM Chair and CEO of Martin Guitars, Chris Martin.
The vast majority of the funding for the NAMM Foundation, of course, comes from NAMM, but that doesn't mean that the rest of us can't give. And I have to say that right now, thank you very much. I really appreciate all the business that we have. The guitar business is good, and I thought it would be appropriate for me to give back. But I didn't want to just give by myself. I wanted to invite some of my friends to join me. And so that's the reason I thought it would be appropriate to offer a matching gift during Believe in Music Week, when we're looking for opportunities to give back to those of us that need help. You know, not all of us are doing well during this pandemic. Not all of us in our community, this community of ours, are doing as well as some of us are. And so I thought, if not now, Chris, when? And so that's why I decided to do it. And I'm so proud of the fact that many of my friends decided to join me.
And with the leadership of NAMM, Chris Martin, our executive committee, several others that were so generous, we were able to put together some lead gifts. And then we invited our partner organizations to invite their organizations to contribute, that these lead gifts would match. So altogether, we were able to benefit 12 nonprofit partner organizations in the Believe in Music, plus our 2024 NAMM Foundation grantees.
And while the show proved to be a success, it was also a stark reminder of the human toll taken by the pandemic.
I think to me the most poignant moment was the annual tribute to those that had passed. We probably had double the number of people in the tribute that we would have seen in years past, and so many of them were due to COVID. And while we thought about the impact, on all our lives and our businesses, to see so many industry friends, colleagues, family that had been lost, that's the part that I think really sunk into me. I'll never forget that.
After Believe in Music Week, NAMM set its sights on helping members navigate the new normal in 2021. Things were starting to look up as tier by tier, people began getting their COVID vaccines, and NAMM membership started hosting monthly retail roundtable meetings, where members could learn from and network with their industry peers.
Our first hot topic was the pandemic. We had about 40 stores join the call to discuss how the pandemic directly impacted customer service and store operations. And really the goal of this program is to do it on the first Wednesday of every month and have a casual dialogue. And we heard from retail members from around the world what's going on in their store, and they were able to network and meet with each other. And this has been an incredible opportunity that NAMM has been able to provide our retail members as an excellent member benefit.
The NAMM Foundation also offered more webinars to help members, music advocates, and educators with current opportunities and challenges during the pandemic, and they scheduled the second annual Music Advocacy Summit in lieu of this year's NAMM DC fly-in. In addition, the Museum of Making Music reopened to a positive acclaim.
So it's really exciting to be finally opening up to the public again and welcoming our visitors. And it's a lot of fun to watch them experience the new space.
We see them interacting very easily with the new digital technology. They're exploring the oral histories, and they're dancing to the music clips and really reading the stories and understanding what these instruments have come to represent and why they change or don't change over time and how they came to be, etc. So we're very, very pleased with the amount of engagement with the content that we're providing. We're also really excited to see people interact with the interactive instruments. We've provided a large variety of instruments so people can explore and find the instrument that resonates the most with them. We even have some vintage instruments that people can try out as well, so that's been fun to watch. In Gallery 2 in particular, this is a story that a lot of people aren't familiar with, which is the retail side of our industry. People from the general public generally don't know that story very well, and so they're very engaged with listening to interviews of some of our industry luminaries and listening to the vintage clips and kind of going back in time as to what it was like to be selling instruments at a particular time in history. So that's been wonderful. Gallery 3 is our video immersion gallery, and that's where we're seeing some tears. You know, people are very inspired when they watch that video projection, and just you can see people reminiscing about moments in their life or just feeling at a gut level what music means to them. So that's been really heartwarming to see that we're able to make this impact on people and have them walk away from this museum as a changed person, right? Which is the point of a museum. You know, we want people to come in one way and leave enriched, and so we feel like we're able to do that.
But the year's primary focus became planning the association's first live trade show since the 2020 NAMM show.
Well, we're really looking forward to getting back in person. I think we're creating a safe and sensible show. And what I mean by that is, of course, it's not going to be what Summer NAMM was in the past. I mean, certainly things are going to take time to get back online. Nashville's just reopening. But what I think we can do is have a really great gathering where we are showing new products again in person. And of course, we're predominantly showcasing music and sound products. They're meant to be touched and felt and heard. So I think we can get back to really feeling the instruments and the products again, which would be really powerful. I think we can reset connections, which would be really great for us. I think we provide some great education. The world is changing, so we can offer a little bit of ideas and know-how and how-to and best practices to our members, and they can share with each other. And I think we can just really kind of get this process back to normalcy again, meaning that we can just kind of jumpstart a show that really puts us on a path to the NAMM show, where we feel in January 2022, when a lot of the world will be back to where it once was. We'll be vaccinated. We'll have the health and safety protocols in place. So Summer NAMM will give us a great opportunity to learn some of those lessons. But I really think it's just going to provide a great reconnection point.
My hope for our members is that they will show up at the Music City Center and feel confident in participating in a gathering once again. You know, it's probably been a long time for many of them that they've traveled, that they've been in groups again, so it might seem really strange. But knowing that NAMM has, put measures in place to make it safe for them.
You know, I do believe coming out of this, there is going to be a renaissance, right? Through NAMM's history, every time there's been a global event like this, what comes next is a period of growth and a period of innovation. It's going to look different, as it should, and change is good, right? I mean, we all need change. But what is not going to change? What's not going to change is the human necessity of gathering. For our industries, need to gather together for creativity, innovation, collaboration to ensure a growing industry. And that's what NAMM does. Brings everyone together.